Shake hands. Back to your corners. Oh, do you understand? Losing. Instruction. Shake both hands. Shake hands. Shake hands.
Oh, referee trying to get them both back together to shake hands. That's how important this is.
Come here, Rick.
And Faze Temperrr wants none of it.
Shake hands. Shake hands. Back to your corners.
King Kenny's focus has been outstanding this week. You can see it all over his face. He's continued on to the fight day. And his eyes are just locked in. He's ready to go.
Joe, he said he wants to be the next big superstar. It's that simple. That's what Kenny wants.
Well, that reception, what he's just done to this arena, I give him every credit to do so.
Listen to this atmosphere now. It really has popped the southpaw stance of Faze Temperrr. 4 inches the taller man against King Kenny, who really wants a KO win here to set himself up. Now, Vidal, the pre-fight talk is that they think Faze will want to lure him into the counters to use that right advantage.
Yeah, so well, that would make sense, you know, with his natural attributes. He should be able to keep him out on the edge of the punches and make Kenny have to run in and try and close the distance. As we can see here, we got orthodox and a southpaw, so the battle of the lead hand is happening right now.
And Joe, he doesn't want to be at that range, does he? At the end of the day, Kenny's got to be either in or out.
Exactly, and he's got to work his way in. As we've said in previous fights this evening, you know, the guys that are just diving in with big haymakers aren't successful. But here we've got Faze Temperrr coming forward with combinations and having success.
And this is what they said, Vidal, he would look to counter every opportunity when Kenny stepped in.
Yes, as Kenny came in, he was waiting. He's not being negative. He's being patient. There's a difference between patience and negativity, and he's waiting to get those counter punches off right now.
Delicately poised this opening round as we rapidly approach the last 30 seconds. And again, you can see Temperrr's got a distinct advantage in terms of height, and he knows how to use it.
Yeah, I think as the taller fighter, when you're punching, and when all you need to do is just punch to keep your opponent at distance, it can give you confidence. And here he's adding to that momentum.
Good combination there from Faze Temperrr. He's showing terrific poise and patience. Good straight left from King Kenny. Kenny has to get his concentration back. What has happened here is he's lost his concentration. He's taken a few punches. He needs to go back to his corner, refresh his mind, and come out better the next round.
Yeah, it's always difficult facing a southpaw. You have to get around that as well. We're almost at the end of the round. What would you be saying to King Kenny, Joe, going back there? Because really, that's the Faze Temperrr round on my part.
I'd be echoing what Vidal's just said. Refresh. You know, the fact that you've taken a few punches doesn't mean you now need to really quickly earn it back and almost equalise. No, that's gone, that's happened. Stay to the game plan, stay patient. You will get your openings as long as you don't lose your mind and get wild.
He has to be patient. He has to recruit. Remember what the game plan was. You know, don't be reaching for punches too far out. You can see in the highlight there, Faze managed to keep him, just fall him short, and then catching him as he's coming in. He needs to feint and double up his attacks in order to battle through Temperrr's current game plan.
And those punches that may not look the most powerful, they give a buzz to the brain, right? They buzz your brain and can contribute to you coming off your game plan, because you almost have to reset and get your composure back. So yeah, those combinations from Faze Temperrr are very effective.
The double jabs and triple jabs will be key for King Kenny going into this second round. If he keeps the single attacks, he will be countered.
Yeah, and Faze has already shown his ability on the counter and his patience on the counter as well. But there, Kenny got through with that stiff jab and then moved right back out of range. It's a hard game to have to play because this is 5 rounds as well, guys.
And the thing is, you know, sometimes landing a clean shot like that after the momentum weren't going your way is good for your confidence. You know, Kenny, you can see he's relaxed again. He needed that jab to kind of get him back into the fight.
It's crazy how much of a psychological game this is. How it's ups and downs, lack of confidence, building confidence, and we're seeing both guys trading here.
And a fight breaks out here live in London, Wembley.
The crowd went crazy there as they mixed it up, and it's a wonderful clash of styles. Sometimes clash of styles work against the back. This is working perfectly for it. They've both got their game plan. Whoever executes is going to win. And when he got in close there, I think it was so good that Faze just took that step back, popped the combinations in as well. We've got a real fight here.
We have a real fight on our hands. We can see, listen to the crowd. you can hear the crowd roaring to keep King Kenny's, you know, motivation high, to keep him in the fight, so he can really push this through. The start hasn't been how we wanted it to go for him, but he still has a few more rounds where he can turn this around. But he will need to start feinting and doubling his attacks.
Well, as you said that, Joseph, first signs from King Kenny, that little movement off the centre line, moving laterally. Maybe he's beginning to take that on board.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that clear, natural ability in a boxing ring. Like, he flows, he moves nicely, he creates angles, and it's just about getting on the inside, because as the shorter fighter with the shorter arms, getting within distance to hurt your opponent is a challenge in itself.
But without having the height and reach advantage is one thing. Knowing how to capitalise and use it is another. That's what's impressed me about Faze. He does.
It's two different things, having it and using it. He is using it. He could use it even better if he did start letting his jab go a bit more as well, because he could then measure the range to see how far King Kenny really is away from him, rather than relying on just the feet. But his tactic is working so far. I'd like to see, you can see in the clip here, good jab to the face on Kenny and a body shot underneath the elbow, but he is getting caught coming in. At this point, it's okay to move away. You do not have to stay in the battle zone. You can retreat and come back. Don't stay in the blender of attack, and hopefully this is the advice Kenny is receiving.
But Joe, midway point, pivotal third round. If you're in King Kenny's corner, is that the advice you'd be giving?
Exactly that. It all comes down to maintaining the composure. Don't feel like you need to chase the fight. Reach for offense. Be patient. Be perseverant. I will say the adrenaline of both guys from when they first entered the arena is probably gone now. They're probably both settled into the fight. And it's game time. This really is where it counts.
Vidal, if I was in Faze's corner, I'd say just be a bit more brave. Just go for a bit more.
I would, but at the same time you do then open yourself to the danger of being countered. King Kenny, I know he's fighting and he's an orthodox fighter. He's fighting a southpaw. We need to see more bright hands. You know, we've seen a lot of lead hands, but lead hand battles with the opposite stance can go on for too long. We need to see him come off the line and let the backhand go and hopefully get some success.
Stopped here. We were so engrossed. Maybe gum shield, is it?
Shoelace. You need to see that right hand come in from King Kenny, because it will make a big difference. The right hand and the left hook are two staple ingredients to deal with a southpaw.
And he is coming in straight lines at the moment.
Yeah,
Exactly that. And I think Faze Temperrr's almost fidgety movement is putting Kenny off deploying that right hand, because it's such a commitment. And look, Faze Temperrr, he's slightly moving, and then bang.
Oh, listen to the crowd's response as Kenny closes that gap. And that's what they want to see. But as we said earlier, I'm impressed with Faze because he knows how to use those attributes, and he's kept focused, kept his shape and discipline, making it as difficult as possible for Kenny.
He has indeed. It's good to see Kenny working the body. I just feel like he needs to remember the phase. After you punch, you need to move. You need to block. You need to do a defensive move after you attack, because that's most likely when you're going to get hit. And that's when Temperrr has been catching.
I believe Temperrr just got something in his eye then.
Vaseline, I think, Joe, maybe.
He started retreating, and that could have been a great opportunity for Kenny to put in an attack.
Good shot.
But this is what I feel he's good at, picking up on what Vidal said earlier, is he does make it difficult for you coming in, but he also tries to punish you on the way out.
Yes, and that is what has been made hard for Kenny today. He threw a good right hand to the body about 15 seconds ago, and immediately after, Temperrr attacked and landed a clean shot. You can't switch off after you throw. He needs to up the pace here and also put his hands up. Give himself the best chance.
Well, we're 3 rounds down, Joe. On my card, I'm going with the blue corner overall. It's not what you want to hear with this hometown support, but he's fighting exactly the right game on my card.
Right, I think, yeah, against what everyone in this ring, in this arena is hoping will be the outcome. As it stands, I can't not agree with you. I think Temperrr has had the more meaningful shots connect, as we can see. It's difficult because Kenny's been trying, but he's just not had the success that Temperrr's had.
And Vidal, that was the counters you were on about, wasn't it, when he landed that right to the body?
Yes. So that's what he's got to look out for. Is like he can't switch off for that split second whilst the guy is still there and willing to throw and land. Kenny, to claw this fight back, will need to put his hands up as high as they can be, start moving his head, and closing the distance rapidly. There's no more time to edge the range. You need to take the range.
Penultimate round, round 4, key round for Kilkenny. As my co-commentators have been saying here, he's got to change things up on our unofficial cards. Remember, they are unofficial. We've got Faze boxing this at the moment.
Kenny now is retreating and keeping the range. If this were 3-minute rounds and there were more rounds, this would be something that's acceptable. But with not long left in the fight, he needs to push the pace.
He got clipped with the lead right hand as well, Joe.
And another one just there.
Well, Faze Temperrr is really stepping up the gear now. But
Good
Kenny
shot
is
from
fighting.
Kenny.
This is
And Kenny goes with 4 big hooks. And the place is rocking as Kenny attacks.
He's seen red. Something's just switched in his brain and he's gone, right, I need to fight. And that is what this needs to become. No longer about a tippy-tappy boxing match. He needs to go to war with this man.
That's exactly it, Joe, and that is exactly what he has started.
The moment he got inside those long arms and negated them, he got the hooks going, he got the work going, and for the first time, Faze looked under real pressure.
That's the most success Kenny has had in the fight so far, and hopefully he knows what got him there, so he can replicate it.
His movement is better, he's slipping, he's moving, he's coming off the line.
He is, and he's moving the right way. They say when you're fighting a southpaw, you should move to your left if you're the orthodox fighter. But maybe he should switch it up. Maybe you should catch him off guard now.
And it is difficult when you're facing tackle, because as you said there, you're going opposite the natural way you're trained and you drill. But Joe, would you like to see more of that?
100%. I think what we've seen there is when Kilkenny bites down on the gum shield and just goes for it, lets his arms go. Not necessarily the greatest technique or the perfect setup, but it gets him in range and it makes it a fight. And I think that's the only way he's going to win this now.
2 good shots there from Kenny, a right hook to the body and a left hook follow to the temple. You can hear the crowd are now behind him. He showed them something that round, and they know that the last round is going to be huge for him in terms of the decision.
That's the problem with that. As you mentioned, if this was a longer bout, Joe, he's taken round 4 on my card, he's taken it, but he's only got 1 more round left.
Exactly, and it makes me think, in sparring, when they're training and they do longer rounds to practice cardio, does that then, drill into their brain that they have time, that the fight is going to be longer? When you get to this stage, it's not a long training session, it goes very, very quickly, and you need to make it count.
Indeed, you can see here in the highlights 2 good shots from Kilkenny, 1 to the body, 1 to the head. And also, when he let the hooks go, once Temperrr was up against the ropes, he managed to finally cut that distance. Can he do it again this round? We hope so. Let's see.
For me, it's got to be a round of 100% intensity for the full 2 minutes. Getting inside that range and working consistently.
Here it goes.
Love the success of the crowd in the previous round, and Joe, that's buoyed them as well. Suddenly they're awake again, they're alive, they're calling out for their man, they recognise that success.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing entertainment. Usually on undercards and even co-main events, we're just secretly counting down to the real main event. But with this, almost every fight has had something. It's gripped us. It's made us go crazy. And yeah, it's what this is all about, and it's what this influence of boxing brings to the table.
And despite the success of Kilkenny and the way the crowd have supported him, I take my hat off to the discipline of Faze Temperrr. He's stuck to a game plan that overall has worked for him. But he's getting caught again now, but he's had a really good game plan tonight.
Kenny just landed 2 very good punches as Temperrr was coming forward. But you know what you see often is sometimes a fighter that's good going backwards isn't good going forwards. And now Temperrr's walking into range, leaving himself open, and Kilkenny's is luring him into his punches.
And it's something he doesn't really need at this stage in the bout. I mean, Temperrr does not need to change tactic, and as you rightly said, it's not working for him.
Exactly, and I think in the back of Temperrr's mind, he'll be thinking, right, just see this out, and we've probably got the win, but he can't get complacent and not do enough.
I feel like he knows he's not home right now, and he's going to have to push the pace and win extra convincingly to make sure everyone understands he is the winner. But then he's leading himself into mistakes like that, where he's falling short and being countered, playing into Kenny's hands.
Exactly, it's the perfect logic, but it's a dangerous game, and I can understand it.
Great shots there from Faze Temperrr.
this could be it for him. That could be key moments, and this again with that double jab could be key moments for him to take this away win.
And there we have it. That fight did not disappoint by any means.
Joe, that was skilled. We saw two skilled boxers in there. We saw game plans. We saw technique. We saw tactics. But I think overall, as much as the crowd doesn't want it, I think this man is confident. And I've got a gut feeling that Faze Temperrr's game plan has worked.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen a real jump up in class there. Two guys that are skilled boxers. And yeah, it's interesting because obviously we are at Wembley. We're in the UK. How much does that play a part to the judges with how they score the fight? You know, when it is close, in my opinion, Faze Temperrr has taken that. What do you think, Vidal?
Well, watching back the highlights as well and seeing from, you know, Temperrr landing the cleaner shots through more duration in the fight. You know, Kenny had his moments, but the consistent story of the fight more so was Temperrr picking the cleaner shots and catching Kenny as he fell short. You know, I think Temperrr should get the decision for this fight, but we know it's boxing and we know what hometown advantage means. I hope that isn't the case tonight because it should be fair, but it's a factor we can't dismiss.
After 5 rounds of boxing, we go to your judges for the decision. Our first judge scores about 49-46 to the red corner. Our second judge, 49-47 to the blue corner. Our third and final judge scores about 49-48 in favor of your winner by split decision, King Kenny!
Well, the crowd have erupted here, Joe. One judge, I think, only gave Faze 1 round. The crowd are loving this. The support is phenomenal. It's what they wanted.
But the place is absolutely a